is just a very short list of things that I have personally seen children ruin at weddings. In no particular order, coming in first, I saw a child shove a $2,000 wedding cake onto the ground. 2, I saw 2 kids who were unsupervised put their hands all the way into the cake and start eating it before anybody could cut it. 3, I've seen children run into the middle of the first dance and nobody has bothered to stop them because they thought it was just cute, despite the fact that both the bride and the groom looked very, very mad. I have heard children scream absolutely bloody murder all the way through a wedding ceremony. I'm talking beginning to end, no breaks. You couldn't even hear the vows over the screaming. And the parents didn't want to leave and take the kid with them because they wanted to watch. I have seen children run into serving staff with full trays of liquid, including Prosecco, champagne, wine, resulting in shattered glass all over the floor, all over the server, and all over the child. I saw a child run into the bride while she was in the middle of the dance floor, causing her to spill her drink all over her wedding dress. The reception had basically just started. I have seen a child run through a band, damaging their equipment. And for those reasons and so many others, I am pro child-free weddings.
Talking about this part of the world that I am, I know that kids are allowed to wedding. It is the parents' choice anyways.
So what is the big issue with having kids at weddings? I'm going to tell you from the perspective of someone that has literally gone to hundreds of weddings, and that is not hyperbole. I have literally been to hundreds of weddings. Most people go to like 20 weddings max in their entire lifetime. I've seen some shit, but one wedding stands out. I was the videographer for a wedding. Ceremony is about to begin. The wedding party is making their way down the aisle, and then here comes the ring bearer. Probably 3 or 4 years old, and he was the nephew of the groom. He is scowling and stomping down the aisle. Every adult as he's passing by is like, please smile, smile. And then he starts wailing. Obviously doesn't want to be there, and if I'm honest, the couple didn't want him there either. The couple had originally planned a child-free wedding. A mother of the kid, the sister of the groom, threw a fit. She got her mom involved, and basically the mother of the groom threatened the couple that if her grandbaby wasn't allowed to come to the wedding, she wasn't going either. So the couple caved. Kid threw such a tantrum during the ceremony that he had to be physically removed from the ceremony site by his mother. So the sister of the groom missed her brother's wedding, which to me is karma. Later that night, that kid tried to grab my $5,000 camera, and he tripped a girl on the dance floor because he was running around. You can't blame the kid. I mean, the kid's a kid. He doesn't know boundaries. He doesn't know social etiquette. He's bored. He wants to have fun. But where were the parents? They were dancing and drinking and having a good time while their kid caused havoc. My thing is, a wedding is not a birthday party. If your kid is running around and knocking things over at a birthday party, okay. So he popped a few balloons and he knocked over some Party City decorations. At a wedding, that could be a centerpiece that cost hundreds of dollars. It could be thousands of dollars of videography equipment. It could be the bride's $2,000 dress. Not to make this all about money, but are you paying for it? Are you spending a year out of your life to plan this wedding? Because if you are the person planning and paying for this wedding and you want kids at your wedding, that's amazing. But if you're just a guest and you're pissed because your kid's not invited, just don't go. Well, I paid for a dress and gas and a gift and now I have to pay for a babysitter. Realize that the couple is paying like 100 times that for this wedding. If it's an adult-only wedding, get a sitter or stay home.
I agree, child-free weddings are just infinitely better. Yes, it's a lot of hassle for some people to arrange childcare, especially if they need to go and stay away and everything like that. But the people who complain about how much hassle it is are often the ones that when you're at the table and you're getting on the booze, are the ones saying how nice it is to have a day off from the kids and really let their hair down. But yeah, I find the whole mood around a wedding is completely different when there's no kids there. The kids don't want to be there. It's boring to them. And then the old people at the wedding change as well when there are kids about. They're like heroin addicts having to interact with the kids. Yeah, just if you're going to get married, have a child-free wedding. People will still come and they will enjoy it much more once they're there, even if they moan in the run-up.
This is why we say no kids at weddings. I read an article today about a person who was having a child-free wedding. The bride and groom had, agreed on it. They had let all their guests know. One of their guests decided they weren't going to be respectful. They weren't going to pay attention. So they show up with their kid anyway, make a giant production at the venue about how they're going to be allowed in with their kid. They are entitled to it, yada, yada. Get into the venue, bride and groom, let the kid in, whatever. Party starts. Kid wanders off. Parents are presumably partying, having fun, when suddenly nobody can find the child. Turns out this unsupervised child had wandered away and had accidentally run into a mirror. The mirror ended up falling on the child and severely injuring them. When the parents of the child realize what has happened, they, 1, threaten to sue the venue for not having proper supervision, and then they decide to try and sue the bride and groom for having an unsupervised wedding. The child wasn't even supposed to be there in the first place. You demanded you bring them, and then you couldn't even keep your eyes on them. Weddings in general are just not safe places for children. It's not a personal insult towards you.
One is going to ask you not to bring your child, your baby, or your kids to wedding, but you as a parent or should be wise enough to know that you're going to babysit your child. You're going to take care of that baby, or you're going to hold that baby not to destroy things or run around. Because in this part of the world, if you allow your baby to misbehave in a wedding, run around in a wedding, or destroy things in a wedding, one, you're going to pay for it. Two, other people are going to spank your kids. Other people are going to spank your baby. Yes, in this part of the world that I am, we spank children if they are wrong. So we don't see it as something bad. So if you allow your kids to misbehave, another person is going to spank your kid. And when you complain, you're going to see other people backing the person up. And two, you're still going to pay for whatever your child destroy in a wedding. Three, to get embarrassed. So in this part of the world, you know what to do when you're going for a wedding. No need for the groom or the bride to tell you it is child free.